The 1960s was a time of groundbreaking discoveries in the field of psychology. Among these was a study that profoundly changed our understanding of child development and attachment. Conducted by developmental psychologist Mary Ainsworth, this study was called The Strange Situation. It explored how young children form emotional bonds with their caregivers and how these bonds influence their social and emotional development. Ainsworth's work built upon the foundational theories of John Bowlby, who first introduced the concept of attachment theory. Attachment theory suggests that children are biologically programmed to seek closeness to their caregivers as a means of survival. However, Ainsworth wanted to dive deeper into this theory. She was curious about the different styles of attachment that might develop between children and their caregivers. To explore this, Ainsworth devised a structured observational method known as the strange situation in 1969. This experiment was designed to observe and classify the nature of attachment relationships between mothers and their infants. It involved a series of brief separations and reunions between the mother, the infant, and a stranger in a laboratory setting. The procedure typically lasted about 20 minutes and consisted of 8 distinct episodes. The first episode began with the mother and child entering an unfamiliar room filled with toys. This allowed the child to explore the environment while the mother remained present, offering a secure base from which the child could venture out and return as needed. In the second episode, a stranger entered the room and, after a brief interaction with the mother, attempted to engage the child in play. This situation was meant to observe how the child would react to the presence of an unfamiliar person while the mother was still present. The third episode introduced the first separation. The mother quietly left the room, leaving the child alone with the stranger. This moment was critical in assessing the child's reaction to the absence of their primary attachment figure. In the fourth episode, the mother returned to the room, and the stranger left. This reunion allowed Ainsworth to observe how the child reacted to the mother's return, a key indicator of the child's attachment style. The fifth episode mirrored the third, with the mother leaving the room again. But this time, the child was left completely alone. This heightened the child's stress, providing further insight into their attachment behavior. The sixth episode saw the stranger returning to the room, attempting to comfort the child in the mother's absence. This scenario tested the child's response to comfort from a non-attachment figure. In the seventh episode, the mother returned once more, and the stranger left. This final reunion was crucial in determining the child's overall attachment style. Ainsworth's observations led her to classify the children into 3 main attachment styles: secure, insecure, avoidant, and insecure, ambivalent, resistant. Children with a secure attachment, approximately 60 to 70% of the children studied, used their mother as a secure base from which to explore. They showed distress when the mother left, but were easily comforted upon her return. This behavior indicated a healthy attachment, where the child felt confident that the mother would return and provide comfort. An example that illustrates the importance of secure attachment can be found in classic children's literature, such as The Tale of Peter Rabbit by Beatrix Potter. Peter's adventures are filled with mischief and danger, but the consistent presence and care of his mother ensure his safety and well-being, giving him the confidence to explore the world around him. In contrast, children with an insecure avoidant attachment, about 20%, showed little interest in their mother, whether she was present or absent. They were indifferent to her leaving and did not seek comfort upon her return. This detachment suggested that the child had learned not to rely on the caregiver for comfort or support. A story that metaphorically reflects this detachment is Hans Christian Andersen's The Little Match Girl. In this tale, the girl, neglected and ignored by society, does not seek comfort from those around her. Her plight is a poignant reminder of the impact of emotional neglect. Lastly, the insecure, ambivalent, resistant attachment, around 10 to 15%, was characterized by intense distress when the mother left and difficulty being comforted upon her return. These children were clingy and dependent, but also resistant to the caregiver's attempts to comfort them. This inconsistency suggested that the children were uncertain about the reliability of their caregiver. A story that metaphorically reflects this detachment is Hans Christian Andersen's The Little Match Girl. In this tale, the girl, neglected and ignored by society, does not seek comfort from those around her. Her plight is a poignant reminder of the impact of emotional neglect. Lastly, the insecure, ambivalent, resistant attachment, around 10 to 15%, was characterized by intense distress when the mother left and difficulty being comforted upon her return. These children were clingy and dependent, but also resistant to the caregiver's attempts to comfort them. This inconsistency suggested that the children were uncertain about the reliability of their caregiver. A story that captures the essence of this attachment style is the Greek myth of Orpheus and Eurydice. Orpheus's desperate attempts to retrieve Eurydice from the underworld, coupled with his inability to trust in her return, echo the ambivalence and anxiety seen in this attachment style. Mary Ainsworth's Strange Situation study provided deep insights into the complex dynamics of attachment. The experiment not only expanded our understanding of child development, but also shed light on the long-term effects of these early attachment styles. For instance, children with secure attachment tend to grow up with higher self-esteem, better social skills, and a greater ability to manage their emotions. They are more likely to form healthy relationships in adulthood, mirroring the stable and reliable bond they had with their caregivers. On the other hand, those with insecure, avoidant attachment may struggle with intimacy and often maintain emotional distance in relationships. Their early experiences teach them to suppress their emotional needs, leading to a preference for independence over interdependence. Children with insecure, ambivalent attachment may face challenges with anxiety and trust in relationships. Their inconsistent early experiences create a fear of abandonment, making them clingy and overly dependent on their partners for reassurance. These early attachment experiences, Ainsworth found, have profound implications for how individuals approach relationships throughout their lives. They set the foundation for what psychologists call attachment patterns, which can influence behavior in romantic relationships, friendships, and even workplace interactions. Understanding these attachment styles is crucial, not only for parents and caregivers, but also for educators, therapists, and anyone involved in child development. By recognizing and fostering secure attachments, we can create environments that nurture emotional well-being and resilience in children. Ainsworth's work also emphasized the role of the caregiver's responsiveness and sensitivity. Caregivers who consistently respond to a child's needs and provide comfort when the child is distressed are more likely to foster a secure attachment. This caregiving style is not about constant presence, but about being attuned to the child's signals and providing appropriate support. A poignant example of this can be seen in the relationship between Atticus Finch and his children in Harper Lee's To Kill a Mockingbird. Atticus's consistent, calm, and supportive presence, even in the face of adversity, provides his children with a secure base from which they can explore and grow. However, it's important to note that attachment styles are not set in stone. With the right support and interventions, individuals can shift from insecure to secure attachment patterns. Therapy, in particular, can play a significant role in helping individuals understand and reshape their attachment-related behaviors. Ainsworth's Strange Situation has been criticized for its cultural specificity, primarily reflecting Western parenting practices. Subsequent research has shown that attachment behaviors can vary significantly across different cultures, where child-rearing practices differ. For example, in some cultures, communal caregiving is the norm, and children may develop attachments to multiple caregivers, not just the mother. Despite these critiques, The Strange Situation remains a foundational study in developmental psychology. It has inspired decades of research into attachment and its impact on human development. Ainsworth's work continues to influence how we understand the early bonds that shape our lives and the importance of nurturing these connections for a child's emotional and psychological health. Mary Ainsworth's Strange Situation was more than just an experiment. It was a window into the fundamental need for human connection. Through her meticulous observation and analysis, Ainsworth revealed the profound impact of these early relationships on our journey through life. Her legacy lives on in the countless studies, interventions, and therapies aimed at fostering healthy attachments and ultimately, healthier societies.